Yeah, David Dread of Steel Pulse, and I'm saying hail to the lion voice, because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out here, hear me now. Oh, yeah, the lion's voice. Raw.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of His chosen Queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwasi Bansu, aka the Chasmach Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man. I'm an entertainment attorney, I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of the Lion Voice. Welcome. This is episode 51. And this episode marks the end of the Roman calendar year. Of course, you know that we go by the Ethiopian calendar year. So in Ethiopian calendar it's 2015. Roman calendar it's 2022. End of 22. Still a good time to reflect. The whole society uses this time, New Year's resolutions, reflections. So why not reflect on the Lion's Voice and what the Lion's Voice has achieved over this year. As we stand right now, 445 beings out there on earth have subscribed to the channel, and I just want to say give thanks to each and every one of those people who press the subscribe button. The item are the Lion Pride. That's what we are calling it. So from you, subscribe the Lion's Pride. What we're about on this channel, the building of heaven on earth, the Rastafari man standard, elevating and establishing the standard, the teachings of His Imperial Majesty. We're going to make trips, we're going to interview people. So this is about solutions. This channel is about solutions. So all of the people who watch this, you're about the solution side of the internet. Please subscribe. We're going to build this as a movement. The network is massive already. And as we go, we're going to introduce people to the network. And again, as we promote, I haven't started really moving around. I haven't been to Jamaica since I started the Lion Voice, for example. So whole heap of things are going to be done with the channel. That being said, 2022 was a year of travel. You know, we start moving around after the COVID, after spending some time in Ghana. Coming forward, we've been here working diligently. We made a trip to Toronto. We made a trip to Atlanta, Ghana, of course, Washington, D.C. The Lion Voice, we've had interviews, relationship topics. We talk about the Rastafari man standard, still the highest performing video on the channel. We touch legal topics. We traveled, you know, took the vlog on the road. Toronto, as I said, we climbed Ghana's tallest mountain. So all of those things, we said let's take some time and reflect in this episode. For those who are new and this is your first episode, this is a buffet of what you can expect from the Lion Voice. Next year it's going to be bigger. And again, as we grow the channel, as we monetize the channel, we're going to invest in production equipment. This is, as you can see, grassroots, straight out my gates. We don't have no studio, none of that yet. This will evolve into that. But I want to record the process from the grassroots so that content creators can see, again, the mantra: consistency beats perfection every time. You don't have the money, you have a smartphone. Start and build. And that is what we are doing. We're building. We're doing it as we're going. We're getting better. I look at some of the old episodes, I say Rastafari, low energy. And you know, over the time now, you see, you adjust, you get more comfortable on camera, you build as you go, you get better at anything that you do consistently. So this is, again, a small offering. We thank everyone. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. join us on this journey, because the time has come for the lions to tell our own story. And this is a lion voice. Bantu Kingdom, look at that, that's exciting.
Oh, well, this is just the midpoint.
And this is the first time the whole Bantu families are united on the land. What are you saying? So this is the Bantu turf.
This is supposed to be senior. But, oh, this is washed off.
So that's somebody else?
Yeah, so I just like, I think they knocked it out because this wasn't clear before. None of this was here. And actually, no. None of this was clear. None of this was clear before. So this is the out, so Kwasi. So like when you look at it on the map, so this is where senior starts and it goes back to that pillar. The pillar's right back there. I do. Well, I filmed the incident where I walked through, we walked the perimeter.
So this is the Bantu Kingdom. Which side is our side? How many days to the launch?
Today we're at the 5th. We got 11 days.
Okay, so we're just showing the level of works that has to be done. We're gonna show what it looks like at the launch. You're gonna see the progress.
For the Habasha family, they'll know this is extreme green on steroids. You see, so we got, you see how we got expansion, anything we want to add to this space over here. We can. We were looking at doing a small toilet here, just for those in this area, because now that this, in addition to a car park, becomes a place where we can do exhibits. We can have like a little market or whatever here underneath. It's shaded.
Yes.
So it doesn't have to be cars. It can be a market where ones are.
Yes. You can bring different products and things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have this where we won't do all, but we'll definitely do something small, like toilet or something, or outdoor space here.
No, it looks very good.
I think for now we'll leave this place until
This is the solar car park. You remember we saw the car park at East Legon? This is the Kazi version. That goat in the distance, if this was just Rastafari, he would be the lawnmower. Unfortunately, the builders have other plans for him. So don't get too attached. This is part of integration into the continent. We have to respect the culture.
you see our squash over here?
This is the Habasha Kazi farm now.
There's that yellow squash. Then we have to harvest.
Food security. This is the pharmacy.
Just a quick little harvest.
This is the pharmacy.
Harvest, you know?
You see, all fruits, vegetables from the land. We do give thanks. Sorry, this is Peanut Town.
Peanuts and then the bamboo, where the bamboo is the fruit tree.
So these are the trees, different trees, and then these patches are all peanut.
Breadfruit.
Where's the breadfruit? Okay, it's the breadfruit.
It's got some breadfruit down there. So yeah, this is.
That's Mr. Breadfruit right there.
Yeah, this is it. And then in between is fruit trees, so all of this will be growing up. Nowadays they call it the food forest. We know that our ancestors have been living this way for millennia. They just lived
Thousands of years.
They were at one with nature, and so and I also one with nature. That's why we're here, and that's what Kazi's for, to really just reconnect, come full circle again. Yeah, so we give thanks, you know. Yellow crooked neck squash over here in Ghana. Nice ones, you know what I mean? For all the squash lovers, give thanks.
Yes, Nana. Living legends. Make them know, Dr. DK.
Pause me to say that this is a living legend.
Yes.
In our Caribbean diaspora.
Yes.
And the World African Diaspora Union. We are honored to have you, Nana Paraika Burhan. Congratulations on receiving the United States President's Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yes,
God bless
Nana.
you.
Living legend.
God bless you.
Living legend.
David Winhorn.
Greetings in the divine moments in pure majesty and brightness of guided first. Rastafari, give thanks and greetings.
Congratulations to you and all those from IDOR, Universal Development of Rastafari. And he's a volunteer for us for many years. We are proud of this, sir. Thank you. And he has also received our international award some time ago. God bless you.
Collective security for sure.
All right, so let's get into the topic. Purpose over that something there, and the discipline. All right, so why do we say this? For every young brethren, you have to prioritize life in order of importance. In I and I humble opinion, your number one priority should be the Almighty. How do you relate to that divine part of yourself? How do you serve that divine part of your life? That has to be the foundation from everything you do. Whatever your faith, your creed, make that the foundation. Then, springing out of that foundation is, what is your mission? How do you serve? What's your purpose on this earth? Every man must know their purpose. And this is why I say purpose over that something. Purpose over the distraction. Because in finding the purpose, that's how you're going to become your best self, your greatest self, which should be the purpose of every human being or every conscious human being. So a lot of our relationships fail today because we enter into these relationships for the wrong reasons. Not because she's fat and she's round, you know, and you want to rub her down. That doesn't mean that that is the foundation for a good relationship. And then because you go in with that intent, you know, and that's your intent, you might create a child. A life is created without a plan, without any intention of how that child will be protected and cared for, and then we recreate that cycle of neglect and of want. So very important as a young man to break these generational curses. Find your purpose. What is your purpose? What makes you passionate in life? So the Almighty first, then your purpose. Then once you know your purpose, then comes the Queen. This is the order of importance. You can't put the Queen before the Almighty. You can't put the Queen before your purpose. Okay, and I'm going to explain why later. So number one in terms of vetting is, you know, you only are going to allow women in your space that are complementary to your purpose. So that means talk to everyone, interact with everyone, network with everyone, but in terms of furthering it, phone conversations, texting, anything that goes beyond pleasantries should only be with women who are complementary to your purpose. This is important when you are looking for that queen, because proximity is a big factor in who we end up with. So the people you're around, things happen, nature takes its course. Our biology is incredibly powerful. So you're around people, you want to make sure from the jump that you're around sistren that align or are complementary with your purpose. And only share intimate space, meaning one-on-one time with people who are directly complementary to your purpose. So you don't want to get in any situation. This will help in terms of mindset alignment. You want to watch and observe. So you got to think with your head up here and not the head below.
You know what I mean? So, and it also on a real basic level, even I won't say it's vanity, but even if you're just looking to get rich, even if you're looking to put, you know, to get into the real trendy, the sustainably trendy economy, agriculture is where it's at. And the proof of that is agriculture is the reason why we went through the hell.
Yeah.
Because of our mastery of agriculture. Because everyone has always known that the land is precious.
Source of
See,
wealth.
so now it's just time for us to pay ourselves. You know? And what better way to pay ourselves than from the payment from our mama, who gives us nurturing, who gives us in gentle ways. You know what I mean? So that's what's up.
And this leads us into the story of, again, the archetype of the priestly warrior king, Emperor Tedros II. Who was Emperor Tedros II? Well, he was born as Kasahailu in a place called Quara, Q-W-A-R-A. So if I'm butchering the pronunciation, my Ethiopian family, please below, you can spell it phonetically. But yes, he was born as Kasahailu, and he was born in 1818. What else was going on in 1818? Well, just to give you some perspective, in 1818, the African Methodist Church was being established. It was founded April 9, 1816. In America, you had Andrew Jackson, former president, who was massacring the indigenous people to end the First Seminole War. That was August 18th. Jump forward 4 years to 1822, you had the legendary Denmark Vesey. Somebody told on him in May of 1822 and stopped an uprising of over 5,000 Africans in the Americas who were prepared to rise and give their lives for freedom. So just to let you know, 1818, at the birth of Kasahailu, the rest of the world outside of the isolated Ethiopia, the black world was still in colonialism and bondage. In Jamaica, there were laws passed to return and register slaves in 1816. So, slavery is at its height when a young Kasahailu was born near the borders of Sudan, which itself is controlled by the Ottoman Empire, in that time referred to as the Turks. His father, Atuhailu, was a man of nobility, and he died at a young age. His mother, because of the death of his father at a young age, his mother was in a precarious position because she no longer enjoyed the support of the father. There were rumors that she was forced to sell bitters, something called koso. Modern literature now says that in some instances that this was a rumor, and he likely wasn't all that poor. You know, his mother also came from status. Her name is slipping out right now, but I'll put it here so you can see and look it up for yourself. But it was likely that, you know, she had a little bit of status based on her own family lineage. So he was not poor, but he was also not included in the inner circle of the upper class and nobility. So he grew up as an outcast to his father's noble roots. He grew up in the shadow of the Chazmach named Maru of Dembia, and this was in the era of the Zemeni Masafint. The Zemeni Masafint. I may be butchering this, people, so if I am, Ethiopian family, put the phonetic spelling down there. We're not above correction. But this is also translated as the era of princes. So this period of Ethiopia history, for those who love the Game of Thrones analogies and the Lord of the Rings analogies, this was an era of chaos where warlords, you know, the Rastas were moving like warlords. All of these different areas had their private armies, and they would war. They were emperors that were crowned and that ruled in Gondar, but they were puppets. They were controlled by these powerful Rastas who, again, were moving like warlords. And we'll talk about some of the major players a little bit later. So war was always imminent, and the different kingdoms were vying. So when we talk about Tedros, that's a different kingdom. When we talk about Johannes, we're talking about Tigray. We're talking about Showa. We're talking about Emperor Menelik. So these were different kingdoms that were warring. So the fact, to bring it forward to the coronation, that Rasta Tafari was confident and in enough power that he could postpone for 7 months. And he gives a justification. In his book, he says, in times of old, the emperor was not announced until the son was put on the throne. Only after the emperor was announced by proclamation would the ceremony burial of the deceased monarch happen. And that was because in the ancient time, again, they're trying to stop these wars for succession, which was very prevalent as different branches of the Solomonic dynasty vied for power. And then you had also other dynasties that also wanted the throne. If you watch Game of Thrones, you would know a fictional account of how coveted the royal throne can be, or if you're a student of history, same thing. His Majesty also says, in other instances, the king would be buried and the son would be crowned in a secret ceremony, and both the death of the old king and the crowning of the new king would be announced at the same time. Again, the same thing. So, but he says that he didn't do this, and this is very key to black history, African history. He didn't do this because he said that on April 3rd, the date that he ascended after the death of Empress Zaiditu, who was Menelek's daughter, that Ethiopia had concluded formal treaties with 12 countries and was a member of the League of Nations. So this was his work that he is talking about. He had been very assiduously building Ethiopia as an international power, meaning that ending the eras of isolation and establishing relations with friendly governments, or at the time what he was hoping would be friendly governments, and governments that could help in the development of Ethiopia from an ancient society or ancient empire or realm into a modern nation. So he postponed for 7 months to allow for invitations to all of these dignitaries. And remember, we're talking about April 2nd, 1930. This is in the height of Jim Crow segregation. This is in the height of colonialism. This is in the height of white supremacy. a black king being crowned in the mountains of Ethiopia. It's extraordinary. And a king with enough power that he can postpone the coronation for 7 months to send out invitations. Who did he invite? Let's look at some of the people that were invited to the grand coronation. And basically all of the major powers of the time were put on notice that the Solomonic dynasty was claiming the throne. And this is quoted from the article. It says, Afrochella is intentionally trading on the goodwill of Coachella and Golden Voice's well-known Coachella and Chella festivals and trademarks. Coachella Valley Music Arts claims in the lawsuit. So that's taken from the lawsuit. The lawsuit also claims that Afrochella is doing this by actively promoting music events in the United States and Ghana using a confusingly similar mark, Afrochella, and by fraudulently attempting to register the plaintiff's actual trademarks as their own. So they're alleging that the organizers of Afrochella tried to go and register Afrochella, and that they did so knowing that they were registering a confusingly similar mark. And that's very important. We're going to talk about the trademark standard a little bit later in the episode. But he had this name, and this name was revealed to the world, the might of the Trinity, or the power of the Trinity. And what did the world see when this name was revealed? They saw a black man beside his black woman who was pregnant with a black child, crowning his black son. And this is why I say this has so much importance for Rastafari brethren in terms of priorities, in terms of how you position yourself, in terms of how you present yourself to the world. So we have a lot of brethren who claim Rastafari, but they have a lot of women around the place. They're creating a lot of fatherless homes. This was not the example that we saw His Imperial Majesty exemplify at the coronation. And again, the item no Iman stance. We said too much loosey goosey agwan. Because if we say we're Rastafari, then at a basic, we're supposed to exemplify the standard or take it higher. We can't take the standard and take it down in the ditch or put it in the gutter. We cannot do that. If you say Rastafari, if you are saying something else, all blessings. It's not for I and I to get in that lane. We stay in our lane. That's why we said the Rastafari man standard. It's a definable standard because it was a lived life that was recorded. So if you're living to that standard, you have to be in keeping with that standard. And this is what we're going to be hammering in on this channel. This is what we're going to be exploring and outlining and defining. So the next generation of Rastafari that come after I and I, you have these things that you can look at and that you can model. And this is from experience as well, because coming as a young Ras, I came into the faith through the study of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. So, and we'll go into what I think is one of the most significant parts of the coronation and what a lot of the sistren them who come into Rastafari gravitate toward, which is the breaking of tradition. And Taurus Riley most famously said, song in She's Royal, how the king and queen crown same time, you know. And this is such a manner of pride for Rastafari all over the world. And His Majesty wrote about it in his autobiography, how he broke with the long-standing tradition. And he made this very clear that this was an important aspect of the coronation. But there are some key points, because even though he was crowned with his empress same time, it doesn't mean that in terms of governorship that they're partners or that they're co-lead. He's still the head. She is serving a vital role in her femininity as the queen, as counsel, someone to consult with, again, so that you have that accountability person in your life that can make sure that you are being challenged on some of your ideals privately. But this doesn't mean that they co-rule. And how can I say that? How can I say such things? Again, number 2, education department. So you have to, once you identify the Almighty, you identify your divine purpose, which is, how do I utilize my unique gifts? What am I good at? What am I passionate about? How can I utilize that gift and that passion in the service of the Most High? So once you figure that out as a man, then you devise a plan. You cannot be a man without a plan. What me say? You cannot be a man without a plan. How can you lead a family and you have no plan, my brother? I'm asking a question. All right, make we continue. Education department. Reading books of all type. As a Rastafari, you know, I am the reading Ras. I'm an author, so I've written a book. So I'm intimately familiar with the reading process. As a Ras, you have to always be reading. His Majesty was a reader, avid reader. Took several pictures with him reading for that purpose. Imported the first printing press in Ethiopia. Stimulate the written word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the Almighty, and the Word was the Almighty. You understand? So reading have to be a part of your chad. Essential reading as a Rastafari man, the Bible. And again, it's popular now to burn the Bible and really take Ethiopia as one of the oldest versions of the Bible. Every Rastafari brethren should read that version if possible. If not, you know, find a version. This whole earth has been so impacted by that book. You would be not wise not to be familiar with the text, because you're going to look at the whole world different. And one of the great things I did in my early trad as a young youth university student, I read the Bible from front to cover, like I would a novel. And you know, it just makes the world a whole different place, because you have a greater understanding of why things are the way they are. You can see how the book has been used politically down through the ages. You can see how the book differs from what people say the book differs, you know, what people hold the book out to say. And you will also see that this is an African story. So I write about it in my book. So it's very important book that you should read. Other books, Selected Speeches and the Important Utterances of His Imperial Majesty. These are the speeches that have been compiled. You can add the wise mind to that. If you are a real Rastafari man, you have to read them book there. Because if not, what are you following? Are you following your opinion, my brethren? And what I say, when brethren give me words so that's contrary to His Majesty, you know, I have to follow His Majesty, because I know His Majesty resume, and if I compare it to this brethren resume, it's not going to match up. So I have to go with what I see and what I know has proven results and outcome, which is His Imperial Majesty build a nation. So that's how we deal with that. But how do you know what His Majesty thought process is if you haven't gone through the selected speeches or the important utterances? Another important book, the autobiography. You have to read the autobiography if you say you're a real Rastafari in this time. You haven't read the autobiography, I'm gonna look at you. You know, you might be Rasta, and that's maximum respect to Rasta. I can't tell Rasta what to do, but Rastafari is a legacy. Rastafari is a livity that has been lived. You know, it's a historical record associated with it, a body of work. So I can speak with authority as it comes to Rastafari. Rasta is a vibration, and we give thanks. Some of it's good, some of it's not great. So, you know, we make that distinction. This is for the Rastafari man, because we have to set a standard to move this thing into the new millennium, into this new era. So the autobiography of him, I have to read the autobiography of him. Also, the life and opinion of the philosophies and opinion of Marcus Garvey. As a Rastafari brethren, you have to read Marcus, so you can understand, you know, the potent power you know, that is the Africa and its diaspora, and you know, study Marcus Trad to see how cooperative economics can impact. And in general, you know, as a real Rastafari man, you have to consume educational content. That means you must watch a documentary. We know, so we have to watch some lion documentary, National Geographic and them thing there. You know, Africa documentary. You have to be knowledgeable about world affairs, geopolitics. As a Rastafari man is a well-rounded man. You know, you can talk on many topics because you have taken the time to invest and to read and to become knowledgeable, whether again documentaries and reading, because not everything that they have in books you can find on the internet. Not everything that is in a documentary or in a book is going to be in a documentary, so you have to have both sides, the technology side and then the written word. So that's part of your education department. All right, so let's address this sound LGBTQ agenda, because on this channel we don't want to just go off a hearsay. So we want to make sure that we clearly define and we don't misrepresent anyone's position. So if you go to the GLAD website, which I did, doing some due diligence, the topic came up, and we go to the entertainment and media tab. The mission statement, so to speak, states that it's there to ensuring, the mission statement states that it is ensuring fair, accurate, inclusive and diverse portrayals of LGBTQ people in television, film, music, streaming content, comics and video games. So that's very clear in terms of what the mission is across multiple platforms. Now we have to ask the question, does the Rastafari community have a similar mission statement as it relates to multimedia? These are the questions that I am asking. When we talk about the LGBTQ agenda, I want to make it very clear what we're talking about in the context of this conversation. It's clear that the LGBT community has an agenda to have maximum representation within the media across multiple platforms. I took a trip to GLAD, which is an advocacy organization for the LGBTQ community, looking at their entertainment and media program, and it clearly states that the entertainment and media program monitors film, television and music related entertainment media to ensure inclusive, diverse and accurate portrayals of the LGBTQ community. When anti-LGBTQ content runs, GLAD speaks out about why anti-LGBTQ attitudes and content have no place in media and how that impacts real lives. The staff also works with TV and film studio executives and producers and writers to provide script consultations and to advocate for the inclusion of the LGBTQ people at all levels in an effort to spark conversations about LGBTQ issues in the living rooms around water coolers. So that, brethren and sisters, is called an agenda. So we're not coming out of pocket by trying to put things on people that they themselves have not openly stated. So that is the agenda. Now we ask the question, what is the Rastafari community media agenda? But that's inside baseball. What we want to talk about is read a book.
Got you.
This was a massive hit. There was an animated video. It went on BT. It went national. You were on TV. Did you think that you had made it? Were you planning to buy a Bentley?
Read a book, read a book, read a motherfucking book. Read a book, read a book, read a motherfucking book. Read a book, read a book, read a motherfucking book. Read a book, read a book, read a motherfucking book. R-E-A-D-A-B-O, okay. R-E-A
No, I got exactly what I thought I was going to get out of it. I was able to buy diapers for 3 years, which is what I needed at the moment. Because of the kind of artist I always imagined myself being, and because all my favorite artists kept telling me how bad the music business was, because of the way I articulate myself, I didn't see myself, you know what I'm saying? And so, I'll be honest with you, Read a Book was more success than I expected. Like, I expected to be able to make a living from being a hip-hop artist and a poet and a producer. I did not expect to have that moment to be able to walk on the stage of 106 & Park. And so I was already like, oh, this is extra, you know what I'm saying? But it also...
Explaining 106 & Park to
yes,
some of our audience.
Generation, right?
I think you went to the park.
Hilarious. So there used to be, so the #1 show, it's weird now because we're far enough away from it, where this is, what was the guy, like the show that Prince premiered on. I remember when we were younger and that was old school. Like there's no way we could, or Soul Train, you know what I'm saying? So I'm explaining to the kids Soul Train. So what was brilliant about it was, I make hip-hop music with kids. That was my part-time job at Marcus Table. Me and my best friend Everett, we were downstairs chilling. You know Everett from the Rastafari community, and yes, great brethren. He was an assistant principal at a school at one point. He's an administrator at another point now. So we are on the exact same page. So we were downstairs just discussing, the state of hip hop and where it was. And his brother, the MC in my band, Marcus, had a couple days ago given me the formula to crunk. The formula, let's see if I can remember it correctly. The formula to crunk is you repeat yourself as often as possible. You resist the urge to rhyme. You curse as often as possible. And you give out simple directions, right? And so I was like, you can follow those directions without being like offensive. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because Little John was like, I'm a beater, I'm a swell. I'm like you can follow that blueprint and still be like on a righteous path. Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book, nigga, a fucking book, nigga. Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book, nigga, a fucking book, nigga. Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book, nigga, a fucking book. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your goddamn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your goddamn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your goddamn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your goddamn kids. Your body needs water, so drink that shit. 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 Buy some land, fuck spinning rims. 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 Like, maybe other than the language for some people. So then the challenge became like, so what could you say? And we were just joking around with it. It was nothing like, we were going to record it, but we didn't think it was a thing. Until one day I said, R-E-A-D-A-D-O. Okay.
Well, I don't care what you heard. Haile Selassie first, him no second or third. Cause even when their lines are blurred, the eyes stand straight, no bend, no curve. And him give you the love you deserve. Him don't come fi dominate, him come fi serve. Showed us the way home, I live his words. But I can't do it alone, so black woman, let's merge. High tall, sip and herbs, we merge. Massage, we calm her nerves, we merge. Together all demon purge, we merge. Another family emerge, we merge. We spoke and no speech was slurred, we merge. We agreed that Babylon's absurd.
We're here in Toronto.
Who am I talking about here? I'm talking about someone that many of you probably know already. This is Mark Taylor. Big up yourself. Yes. All right. Tell the people a little bit about yourself. I'm gonna take myself out of the image.
Well, I mean, I'm an actor. I've been doing a lot of film and TV for a lot of years. You know, been on the grind for at least 25 years.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
been a lot of ups and downs, and learning a lot, and just trying to keep building.
How did you get started in acting? What was that story?
Well, that was actually, you were in a talent show, and I had just came back to Toronto, and you know, he just brought me along to the talent show, and then they had an open call set up, and it's something that you wanted to check out. And you told me to come along, so I just came and then auditioned and booked my first role. It wasn't something that I was looking to get into, but it happened, and that's kind of just where my career started.
What was that role?
That was a role in a TV series called Straight Up, and I was my character's name was Jeff Ronson.
Okay, memories.
Yeah,
I didn't remember that. I didn't remember that one.
So that was my first takeoff into the industry. I was 18. I was still in high school. You know, we were still in high school, so that's when I became a professional actor, and then it just kept going from there.
And I like it, man.
No, we like it, man. But you said something earlier, Yala, son. Obviously, your mother is globally renowned. What is that like in terms of being the son of someone who is so respected in the community and who is dealing with the issue of trauma? Because everything that we're talking about is kind of symptomatic of the trauma that our people are facing.
Sure.
Your mother has been known for that, and for those who haven't caught on already, Yala Van San, this is our son. So, you know, what has that experience been like being in that light, and do you feel a responsibility yourself to kind of carry on that tradition of healing trauma or addressing the trauma our people are facing?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, that's the only reason that we're here. You know, shout out to my moms, because she was the one that really taught me and persuaded me, guided me into, you know, the film industry. You know, I saw myself, you know, I was a selector.
Yes.
I was killing sounds. Now I'm hanging out with Oprah and Gail and Tyler. And, you know, it's like, oh shit, you know, the gears switch. So, but no matter where you are, it's like, I'm who I am. And
it's one thing I respect. Beware is beware anywhere.
I'm not switching. That wasn't how my mom's raised a warrior, and as a warrior, my job is to, you know, to be in alignment with my divine assignment. And my divine assignment as a warrior is to uplift my community, to stand for my family, to provide, and secure, and to lead. You know, in those three things, and whichever order you want to put them in. No matter where I'm at, whether I'm a selector, whether I'm a television producer, whether I'm, you know, a bartender, you know, I'm not going to compromise who I am because of the environment that I'm in. I'm going to bring my energy and my frequency no matter where I am, and I'm going to bring it there, and I'm going to raise the frequency if it's not already where my energy is. So, and it just so happened like that's what we're doing in this film industry. You know, you saw the work that Mom was doing before even Fix My Life, starting over. If you want to go back there, you know, and her books, you know, are doing well, and they've always been doing well and been good joys for women and been a healing source for a lot of people. So now it's like, you know, to reach millions of people or large numbers of people with a product or you know, a series or a movie or Fix My Life or a show or something like that, because our people are drawn to what they believe is celebrity.
Yes.
Right? You know, so, and that's not how we live, you know. I can speak for my mom in that regard. Anybody know that. That's just not, that's for them.
Yeah.
So
we're over here because there's a job for us to do, not because we're trying to be famous. You know, and that's the difference. So the accolades and everything that comes along with that whole Hollywood entertainment lifestyle, like that doesn't, it's not like we got shine eyes, Barrington even say. Yeah. That doesn't do it for us. We're in that vanity thing. You see what I mean? It's about our people.
Right. Hasn't even really had a chance to rest from all of that timing. So what's the
we giving thanks for the opportunity to be a servant of the Most High. We give thanks that His Majesty has put us in the place here in Ghana to welcome my brethren and sisters to return home and to create a space for us to heal from the negative effects of the Arab and the transatlantic slave trade and the colonialism that has been heaped on our people and still continues to affect us. So we're giving thanks to be here. The opening showcase of Kazi was an astounding success. We had our Habesha family, some who were able to make the journey. We had our family here in Ghana. The community came out. It was beautiful. So we give thanks. And, you know, the Judge March give thanks that the and the family came, you know, to be here because we reasoned of this almost 20 years ago that we would begin to prepare a way and be a part of the welcoming ceremony for our brothers and sisters who are returning. So we give thanks that we are on that same path that we reasoned of 20 years ago and we trotting together. So, you know, Rastafari continue to bless the and strengthen the with the works, you know.
We reason about the healing, and I want the because this is the lion voice coming straight from the lion mouth. Speak about
beautiful backdrop right here.
Yes, sir.
Nightlife in Accra.
Let me get a foreground. Yeah, I can see we in the thick of things at the airport. See, this is real life, you know, in movements. But talk about how Kazi plays into the healing from the transatlantic and Arab slave trade and colonialism. You know, how are we making those connections? I want to really know, because this is a key in terms of who we're going to be targeting to have the Kazi experience.
This space is created for us, by us. You know, we feel that it's African people that has to solve Africa's problems, first and foremost. And so we know that first we have to be to heal ourselves. Part of healing ourselves is healing the earth. Knowing how we treat the earth is how we treat ourselves. So when we pollute the earth, we're polluting our bodies. When we destroy the grounds of the earth, we destroy the grounds within our sacred temples and our goodies, or our bodies as we call them. So what we want to be able to do is create a space where we can physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally heal and be able to grow. And so that's where Kazi comes in at. For African people, we know we need this, and once we heal, as His Majesty say, when African righteous people come together, the world will come together. This is our divine destiny. So that's what we built Kazi for. That's what we look forward to having our family from all over the world come and share and build and strengthen with us. And that's what, you know, the work has been over the past 2 decades about.
All right. Before we chat up, I just want the item introduce the item self.
Yeah. Chris.
All right.
Bongo Tayo.
Bongo Tayo. Chris, you're a farmer. Just a little bit about your farm.
Yeah, I'm an organic farmer. I've got 22 acres just east of Cape Coast, Ghana.
Okay. And
yes, I tutor French language and freelance cinema work.
And for the people on the channel, I've known this brother over 20 years. Early days in Washington, D.C. So this is a foundation. This is a joy. This is where we are. We're at Mount Afajato. And then we're going to go to Tagbo Falls. So just getting there initial, what do you expect to see up at this mountain? Are you ready?
Oh, heaven. Yeah.
Okay. And are you ready? This is also a fitness journey. So we're ready. We're getting ready. We'll video some more at the top of the mountain. Blessing. All right. So we're getting ready. Go down the path so you can see the trail to the mountain. Nice canopy over us, but it's gonna open up. This is one of Ghana's hidden treasures in the Volta region. Beautiful for situation. The joy of the whole earth. Mount Zion. Okay. Yes, we have some skill. This is all farmland, by the way. This is all owned by different families in the village. So everything you see here is farmland.
Tell the black man live up, Africa still needs some build up. Never give up till the black man free up. Babylon have to melt and burn up. Just don't give up. Congo man don't trim up. We are burn down the coal man scissors. Never give up. Never give up. Rastafari king never leave us. Time so dread. I need a big spliff to cool my head. Snipers on the loose, leaving victims dead. Some think I'm Taliban cause I don't shave my beard. Feared cause of the power in the words we spread. We build our economics.
And you can see different butterflies. This is home to over 300 species of butterfly. This region.
Learn from our mistakes, give credit where due and separate from the fakes. Faith plus works never hurts. I disperse a verse to the earth.
Alright, the incline has started. And it will not stop until we reach our destination.
Selassie, I rule the universe, spiritual network, master builder of the triumphant church. But all I see is liquor stores to kill the poor, selling wigs and the skins of pigs. So deep is the pit we dig. Now the youth run the block with the Glock, playing Mr. Big. And he never feels safe, never feels secure, even with the 4 locks that you got in your door. Plus it's world war, weapons never seen before.
Time. I'm not gonna film a lot because I really need to focus. Yeah, it's a steady incline. I'm a little out of shape, I'm gonna be honest.
When they lock down the cities, martial law, me I light my big spliff on the African shores. Never give up, tell the black man live up, Africa still needs some build up. Never give up.
Blessed be the Most High. Imperial Majesty. Check in, how you feeling?
Yeah.
We're a little more than quarter up the mountain, how you feeling?
Yeah man, strained but gotta push on through.
Okay, give thanks. I decided to turn this into a fitness episode. Fitness! Witness the beauty of Mama Africa. Yeah, we only a little over a quarter. We're gonna check in again. Blessing. Development. So we just passed a stop. We caught up to Chris. How you feeling? All right. Tayo, check in. What's going on?
Yeah man, some water rest.
Yes, I.
So
Wise mind.
fatigue, but
Yeah, wise mind. No Generation Z up here.
you can't get weary.
This is not a Generation Z trot. Wise mind. A lot of hydration. A lot of hydration. But we up here. So you can see Kazi from here nicely. It's stabilized. Alright, zoom out. You can see how deep in the bush. You can see the tongue. Vibes. Tayo, check in.
Yes, my lord.
What's happening?
Yeah, man. The gas, feeling effects of the altitude, you know.
Yes, I.
But still, just have I and I carry out the last quarter. And, yeah.
Oh, that joy. Yeah. No joking. Here, Mount Afajato. Here, Chris up at the top, taking some. Oh, this is a beautiful day to climb the mountain. That's where we're coming from. Down Lion Voice Fitness episode.
Yeah, go ahead. Unfortunately, some people call it a castle, but it wasn't a castle for us. It was a dungeon. And the crimes against humanity were committed. Over the years, through some nefarious intentions of some people, the space has been whitewashed, both literally and figuratively. We know that when our ancestors were taken from the shores here in Ghana, we didn't come through an entrance, we didn't have a fee, but we came through the door of no return. Additionally, our ancestors didn't have the Air Force Ones, the Retros, Vans, Clarks, Filas, or even Fubu. They came barefoot. So we asking everyone to let's walk literally in the path of our ancestors. Take off our shoes before we go any further. We stand on holy ground. This is one of our main reasons and purposes why we're here. We're gonna have fun, we're gonna shop till we drop, we're gonna eat all the great food, but this healing work right here is some of the most critical, especially to our young people. Generational. So even as we go and see these horrors, know that, as we were talking earlier, we are the ones who survived. We are our ancestors. We are our ancestors. Ashe?
Ashe. So I want to talk about the building of Zion, the return. One of the reasons I made this channel was to document returning home to Africa. There's a lot of chatter right now, there's a lot of excitement. Just know that this has been a vision, a goal since the 90s. You know, since we embraced Rastafari during university, the goal was always repatriation. This was something that, as a young Ras, we would be chanting for repatriation. We want to go home to Africa. This is what led to myself making the first trad in 2005 with Habesha to this very country, Ghana, West Africa.
This is the food forest, so all of these patches are different trees, most of them different fruit trees. All local varieties of fruits, but aggregated in one place. Banana walk, banana and planting back here. And I'm not the greatest in terms of a farmer, so Don't beat me up if I misclassify something. Just drop a comment. So you can see some of the sight lines from the bamboo pavilion. There's a bird fight going on here. What's going on? Here you can see that's the farm that we just were visiting. So just providing some updates on what's new at Habesha, causing the building of Zion continues.
Them could never conquer the mountains. Thousands of years and counting. Ethiopia rise again unto the world. Now we are announcing. Them a plan for war, we a plan for peace. And now we see them wanna go dismantle the base. When the trumpet sound and the violence cease, how we say one go build up the city. Poor man working for the rich man. Rich man don't care about the poor. But look along the rich man own the poor man land. The poor say him can't take it no more. But look along the poor man working for the rich man. Rich man don't care about the poor. But look along the rich man own the poor man land. The poor say him can't take it no more. One day he started chanting, give me some land. Want get some land. Wanna build my own house, be my own man then. Give me some land. Want get some land. I wanna raise some little baby with a pretty black woman. Dirty Babylon. Them want to stop the movement. Stop the family, them bring down unemployment. Them want the black woman become a single parent. No daddy can about if Babylon not pay your rent. Where dirty Vatican servants start the enslavement. Buckingham get rich off of this slave shipment. Uncle Sam no want no reparation argument. Them just provide opportunities for prison sentence. Who profits from a whole community's imprisonment? This a big man up at top account him dollars and cents. Now the poor man working for the rich man. Rich man don't care about the poor. But look along the rich man own the poor man land. The poor say him can't take it no more. But look along the poor man working for the rich man. Rich man don't care about the poor. But look along the rich man own the poor man land. The poor say him can't take it no more. One day they started chanting, give me some land. Want get some land, tell the African Union a black man a African. Haile Selassie, that's my shield and sword. Now go bow down to no landlord. They want man get gentle, them gentrify. So tell me who here when the poor man cry. Well tell me who care when the poor man die. Poor man gone a war when the rich man lie. Rich man don't care how the poor man survive. Cause the poor man work get computerized.